Hello and welcome to Free Your Compass. This is Francis. My last episode was a little bit darker, so for those of you that stuck with it, thank you. A quick recap for anybody who avoided it or just hasn't got around to watching it and has decided to listen to this one. Basically just went to that deep, dark place that we tend to go to with depression. But the message to be taken out of it is to start looking at your life at a smaller, more manageable level and how to get started with that. I decided essentially you should start with a couple of very simple things in your immediate vicinity that you can control. You know, step one, clean your room, your immediate environment. It's something that you have under your control. So if you haven't done any of these steps as of yet, I would recommend take these steps now. Get started on it. It is helpful. All of this I've been doing now and focusing on for 2 weeks. Am I cured? Heck no. Am I feeling better? Yes, I'm feeling a little bit more in control. I feel a little bit more like the world isn't crashing in around me. I feel a little bit more like I can affect my environment. It's a good step in the correct direction. So step one was to clean your room. You know, not necessarily spotless, not talking miracles, talking get rid of the junk, tidy your stuff up, fold your clothes, put it away, that kind of thing. Just make it nice and tidy so that you're not wandering into an absolute mess. It's very easy to wind up with a very messy and disorganized room, but it's relatively simple to keep it organized as well, once you've got it there. Step two was a daily task, and that was make your bed. First thing in the morning, you get up, you know, whether it's after you do your morning ritual or before, get up, you make your bed. You know, that way you've completed a task. Something you've done, you've achieved something. You know, and no matter how bad the day is, you're coming home to a made bed, a small achievement. You know, generally speaking, if you can get one task right, then you can get the next one right, then you can get the next one right. The idea is to give yourself a win at the beginning of the day, something that you have controlled, something that you have achieved, so that you can then try to roll that onto another one. Okay, so clean room, make bed. Make sure that your room stays clean every day. Make your bed every day. Simple tasks. 2 weeks of doing that habitually, making my bed now is actually become a habit. I've got to the phase now where no longer is it a dreary task that I have to force myself to do. I actually feel weird if I don't. So that's actually pretty cool. I do feel a little better in that sense. So I recommend that everybody does at least those two things. You know, whether you think the rest of what I talk about is rubbish or not, just do those two things. It helps and it can't hurt. So give it a shot. It might make you feel a little bit better, a little bit more in control. The next phase, obviously, is to add something to that once you've got a bit of a habit happening. So I've already started with this, and that is go for a walk each day. So some form of exercise. Doesn't have to be going for a walk. It could be some sit-ups, some push-ups, whatever works for you. But my recommendation is that you start with something very low impact that can get you outside and get some sun. We spend way too much time indoors on average. It's not great for our health. You're not getting that vitamin D. You're missing out on a lot of stuff. Fresh air, the whole works. So if you can go for a walk, then you're getting some exercise, you're getting outside, you're getting some sun, you're getting a bit of that. And I recommend do that at least 3 times a week. All right, you want to go for a good, preferably 20 to 30 minutes worth of walking. Low impact, it doesn't matter, you don't have to power walk, just do it. That's the important thing. Make a habit out of that. If you do it more often per week, all the better. But make sure you make it a minimum of 3. That means if you miss a day, you have to do it the following day. Unless you do yourself 3 and then have the others as rest days. But if you're putting it off rather than getting it done out front, if you miss a day, do it the following day. Otherwise, you're just going to miss out. That's basically 3 times a week is every second day. So I'm not going to basically push anyone or state anybody to do more than that at this stage. So step 1, if you haven't done it already, clean your room and make your bed every day. Step 2, get some exercise, preferably outdoors, 20 to 30 minutes, low impact, nothing flash. Just do it. It's to get yourself into a habit and start getting a healthy routine. If you want to go advanced on this and sort of push ahead further because you're feeling gung-ho, this big point here is don't push too far ahead. But then I would say is if you want to do that advanced, find a form of junk food or something that you are eating to remove and replace with something that's healthy. Other than that, don't go too hard too fast. The idea here is, as I've learned, if you go gung-ho and go too hard too fast, you do really well, motivation dies off, and basically what you've done is you've gone from step 1 to step 8, and then rather than falling back to step 7, you fall right back to step 1. What we're doing here is building ourselves a step 1, a step 2, a step 3, a step 4, a step 5, a step 6. That way, once you finally get yourself to that step 8, that you then lose your motivation and you start to fall apart again, you fall back to 7, not to 1. That's a mistake that I've made multiple times now, and I have decided that I'm going to do it little bit by little bit by little bit so that I build those habits as I go. And I think that will work for all of us. Please feel free to comment, give some advice, ask questions. I'd love to hear from you. I know there's some viewers out there. I know there's some listeners out there. So communicate. freeyourcompass@gmail.com. Other than that, thanks very much for listening. I'll catch you next week. I'll try to make sure that I actually do this weekly from now on. Had a few other bits and pieces, but thank you very much. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week, and we'll go into more depth.